Okay, so in this video, I'm going to do a review of the game between FOOTSCRAY and Collingwood, which, I was always going to do. But the other half of this video is going to be a little bit of a rant about a topic that, is a bit, I'm not sure what the right words are, but I got to call it out for what it is. And some people aren't going to like it. Some people are going to skip through it or whatever. But it's my channel. I'm going to use the platform to say what I need to say.
0, 1. Let's get started.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Black and White United Show. I'm your host, Andreas. Thank you so much for tuning in with me this evening. Now, I know it's a little bit late, but I didn't get to do it earlier today, but it is what it is. We're going to do the review of the FOOTSCRAY versus Collingwood game last night at the MCG. Look, all in all, if you're a neutral supporter and you don't follow any of these teams and you just love footy, wow, what a game of football. If you're a Bulldogs fan, you're going to be frustrated. If it's a Collingwood fan, you're going to take it. You're going to just run with the 4 points. We got fortunate. We were also a little bit misfortunate at the start, but let's just get down to it and give this a nice quick review. So let's be honest, the Dogs got off to a pretty decent start, 22-0. Then we finally started creeping back. There's going to be so many, issues about the umpires and talk about the umpires over the next, week of football, at least but from this game. But it is what it is. I'll touch on that a bit later. Standouts for this game for me were Lachie Schultz. I thought his pressure around the footy was fantastic. Josh and Nick Dacos just keep taking this to a next level. And to be honest, if it wasn't for Nick, I actually think we wouldn't have won this game. I thought Mason Cox for his first game back was pretty decent. Darcy Cameron, in my opinion, is the best ruckman in the competition. Now, other neutral fans will watch this and they'll be like, you got to be kidding me. His role in our team is just way too important to underestimate. He was everywhere, taking good, really strong marks, and he was just able to break the play when we needed it, when we were under pressure. When he was in the contest, most of the time, we actually won the footy. That mark he took at the end of the game, you can't go past how important that was. If the Dogs break free and they kick a goal, the game's a draw, and we've just let a game that we should have easily won slip through our fingers. The second and third quarters, I felt like we actually got in control of the game a fair bit. Once we hit the front in the second half, it became really hard for the Dogs to creep back up on us. The last quarter, I'm just going to cut straight through it. The last quarter was an absolute debacle. People can go out of this game thinking, oh, how good we won, this is that. Yeah, look, I'm not going to lie, I'm happy that we won. But let's face it, we played absolutely shocking at parts of that last quarter. Dan McStay, Jamie Elliott, even Bobby Hill at times, Jordan De Goey. You are directly in front of goal. De Goey was on a bit more of an angle, but you're fairly close in. 25, 30, 35 tops to make it sound better. Meters out of goal. You need to put those goals away. If McStay had to kick that one, I know ifs, buts, should haves, but hear me out. If McStay had to kick that goal in the last quarter, the first one that was missed, that puts us almost 20 points up at that stage. The Dogs don't come back. They don't score those couple of goals towards the end of the game. The finish is completely different, and we sail home with a nice, comfortable 20, 25, 26 point win, right? Wasn't to be. The amount of chances that we have in front of goal with the big forward line that we have, we need to finish them. Yes, Houston had a quiet game. I thought Quainer had a quiet game as well. Still stuffed up that mark in the middle, but then redeemed himself in the last 5 minutes of that final quarter. There's so many ifs, buts, and variables, but we played against the team. I don't want to be negative about this because we won, right? But let's be real. We played against the team that had some of their VFL players playing, right? Missing absolute superstars, and we just got away with it. Now, were we riding off the high of last week? Probably. Maybe, but no more. I'm sick of it. Okay? Teams like that are undermanned, we need to put away. And all right, we got the 4 points. We should be happy because last season, games like that, we probably would have dropped. Let's be real. Yeah? But if we're going to be any chance this season, when a team has its backs against the wall and they need to dig deep into their squad to pick players out, right? We need to be putting them away, because with a full Western Bulldogs team on that night, the way we played, we don't get the 4 points. And I think most Collingwood supporters know that. Now, that's the negative part out of the way. The positive part was I felt like players like Dan Houston, players like Tim Membry, players like Harry Perriman, who did a couple of good things throughout the night, I felt like they didn't have a major impact. And we were still able to get the points out. So really, that's a positive. The positive, I think, now also is that we get to go into the bye. We've had 2 wins. We get to refresh, right? And then we come out against Carlton. It's going to be massive. Our next 3 games are huge. Carlton, Sydney, Brisbane Lions. Personally, if we can get 2 out of those and lead up into like the Anzac Day time and go towards the middle of the season, we can really start setting up our season and lock ourselves in the top half of the ladder where we need to be. The whole situation about the umpires. Now, we can look back on the first quarter, and as Collingwood supporters, we can say, well, there were so many decisions that didn't go away. The one that stands out the most to me out of all was obviously the Darcy Moore decision, where, you know, the second he had the ball, he got tackled, he got taken to the ground, and he had no prior opportunity. That's not holding the ball. There was other decisions throughout the game that could have gone Collingwood's way that didn't. But let's be real, okay? We got a really good share with the umpires towards the end of the game. Some of them were a bit iffy. Some of them were like, oh, hang on a second, it's 50-50, whatever. But please, the Bailey-Dale deliberate out of bounds was stiff. Nick Dacos walking the ball over the line probably should have been deliberate. In my eyes, as a football person, not a Collingwood supporter, they're either both deliberate or they're both a throw-in. That's all I got to say about that. I know people are going nuts or whatever it is, but I cast your eyes back to the St Kilda game in the corresponding round 2 last year, where, and I'll put it up here off the top of my head because I haven't seen the photo yet. I think it was something like 30-16 free kicks or whatever it was, yeah? There was free kicks in that game that, towards the end, influenced scoring opportunities for St Kilda, and they won by like 3 goals or whatever it was. Now, no one in the AFL world batted an eyelid. No one said nothing. It happens almost identical freeze fall, okay, the next year against another opposition in the same round, but it favours Collingwood, and all of a sudden, the football population of Australia is in uproar about it. Let's face it, we know you don't like us. I don't care. We don't care. Hate us all you want. It makes us thrive, and you are only envious of us. That's it. I can't go on about it anymore. Who cares? Move on. We've moved on from times where we get screwed by the umpires, and every team gets screwed by them all the time. You look at the Hawthorn-Carlton game. Look at the Essendon-Hawthorn game in round 1 or whatever it was. There was decisions everywhere that influenced scoring opportunities. It happens. It's going to happen against us. It's going to happen for us. It's going to happen against you. And it's going to happen for you. Get over it. That's footy. The umpires are consistently inconsistent. Everyone's interpretation is different, regardless of what they're told. Okay? Now, the one umpiring decision, though, I know that might sound contradiction now that I'm going to talk about it, but my channel, I'm going to talk about it. If Mason Cox has taken the mark, regardless if the intention's there or not, and he's punched across the face, that needs to be a 50-metre penalty. If he's taken the mark and bang, he's been hooked, it's a 50-metre penalty. He goes back, kicks that goal, the whole outcome of the game is different. All right? But there was no free kick paid, well, just the mark or whatever it was. So there was a free kick, but there was no 50-metre penalty. Tonight, the tribunal, or the MRO, has cleared him of that. Now, we know, as Collingwood supporters, I'm talking to us now, we know he didn't mean to hook him. Let's be real. Everyone was frustrated at the game. You can say what you want. This is that. We know he didn't mean to do it. But it still happened. Not even a 50-metre penalty. Not even a fine from the MRO. Nothing. Nothing. Let that sink in. And apparently Collingwood got kissed where it feels the best. It's just frustrating. But at the end of the day, we got the points, so cop that. Now let's go to my actual rant. There has been some people on like the content creation, the social media platforms that have called it out, and so has Mason Cox. Let's be real. Collingwood supporters don't have a great reputation of things that have happened in the past, from bullying and racism stuff and all this type of crap. Yeah? The comments on social media about Mason Cox, and he's the victim in this case, are out of this world. Like, I'm going on social media, flicking through it, and I couldn't believe it last night. I had to put my phone down when I went to bed because I was like, no, I can't see this. This is ridiculous. He's called it out earlier on today. And he said on the caption on Instagram, like, I love Australia, but it's still got a long way to go. I'll be honest with you, it has. Like, we got blasted as Collingwood supporters by our club for booing Buddy Franklin. I'll put my hand up. When he was going for a shot on goal against us a few years ago, 100% I booed him. I didn't boo him because of his nationality. I booed him because he's a champion, and I'm sick and tired of when we were playing against him. Even when he was at Hawthorn, he'd always rip us a new one. So we're trying to put him off. We also booed Papley that day as well. But the clubs then turned around and made a statement on behalf of the club on talking about the supporters. Well, I'm a supporter, I'm a member. I didn't get any sort of clarification or consultation by the club or anything about this, saying that it was wrong, blah, 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 this is this. And I can understand where this is going, right? From the club's point of view and everything. And I understand. All right, whatever. Leave it. Now, Mason Cox gets hit. We're on the receiving end of something, okay? And I'm not forgetting the Ash Johnson stuff that happened on social media too a couple of years ago. That's there as well. I think the club came out and said something about that, but I'm not going to go on a limb and quote it. I can't remember 100%, but whatever. But what gets me the most is that it happens to Mason Cox. He gets hit, right? And the comments flying in about his nationality, about like whatever, right? All over social media. No one from the club has come out and condemned it. Or no one from the club has come out and said, we are aware of the comments, the online comments. What's the time now? It's 8:43 p.m. right now when I'm doing this video. I checked before I started this video and nothing was said. Cox has still got his thing on his Instagram story. Nothing has been said by the club condemning what has been said, especially the fact they're talking about like, oh, he's an American, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Why not? Why hasn't the club got on the front foot and said, hey, our guy got hit, regardless if it was an accident or not, you shouldn't be doing this and you shouldn't be talking about a player like that. Now, there's been nothing said from the club, as I said. Will there be? Probably not. Why? So I implore, if there's anybody from the Collingwood Football Club, current player, past player that's still involved with the club, staff, whatever, that watches my videos, I invite you to come to my live on Tuesday night and tell me why the club won't come out and say something about it and why it was left to Mason Cox to put on his Instagram story and paste some of the comments on the actual footage of him being here. Why did he do it and the club hasn't come out and said anything about it? So if there's anyone from the club that watches my videos, come on Tuesday night. The link to my Instagram is in my YouTube bio. Click it, right? And go to my Instagram, send me a message. I see it all. My phone's in my pocket 24/7, right? Send me an inbox and I'll send you the stream yard link on Tuesday night. Do it. People will watch. I'm sorry, he's one of our players. He's one of our own, right? And you're good to call everything out. And I love this football club to death, right? It consumes my whole life, right? Outside of my family, my kids, my missus, and my work and stuff, this is the most important of not important things in my life, like it is everybody else. I implore you to come on my live on Tuesday night. I know you won't, and tell me and my subscribers that watch this stuff, there's 673 of them at the moment, and I'm sure there's more that watch that unsubscribe, tell us why the club hasn't come out and said anything in support of Mason Cox and what's being said to him on social media. We played shit on the weekend, or last night. We played crap. We were lucky to get away with the points. Things went our way at the end. Things didn't go our way at the start. That's football. It's frustrating because I try my hardest not to be negative on this channel. I really do. Right? I always look at the positives. Anyway, call it as you see it. Drop a comment. And as always, go the Pies.